The extradition of the ISIS Beatles has been postponed because one of their mothers has issued a legal challenge. Sajid Javid has been under fire over the last week or so because he refused to seek assurance from America that once the ISIS Beatles, a terrorist cell from Britain, are extradited to the United States, that they won't receive the death penalty. The Telegraph reported on this and they said, Britain has secretly abandoned its blanket opposition to the death penalty in Guantanamo Bay to allow two notorious members of the Beatles group of ISIL terrorists to be sent to America, the Telegraph can reveal. Documents seen by this newspaper reveal that the UK government has agreed to hand over intelligence to help prosecute the captured jihadists Alexander Coty and Shafi el-Sheikh, who both held British citizenship in the US courts. In a letter sent by Sajid Javid to Jeff Sessions, the US Attorney General, the Home Secretary says that Britain will demand no assurances that the pair will not be executed in America. Other documents say that British officials have also assessed the pair. And for some reason, the left have been in total uproar about this, as if these guys are actually salt of the earth blokes. The Guardian's published, they said, Sajid Javid has betrayed our values by giving way on the death penalty. And they also published, the death penalty is an abomination, Sajid Javid must not condone it. And of course, Diane Abbott called it abhorrent and shameful. Big words for her. Anyway, this is what happened. In a letter to the US Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, the Home Secretary Sajid Javid said that he's not going to seek assurances that the ISIS terrorists from the UK would not receive the death penalty. There's also been no assurances that they won't go to Guantanamo Bay. So the Beatles are called the Beatles because they had English accents. They were an ISIL militant group who were responsible for beheadings and murders all over the place, including the beheading of American journalists James Foley and Stephen Sotloff. But for some reason, we're meant to be upset that these guys might be going to America, facing the American justice system, and going to prison, going to Guantanamo Bay, or even facing execution for killing these two American men. We're meant to be upset about this. And get this, Sajid Javid is now being forced to halt the extradition of these men because the suspect's mother, or one of the suspect's mothers, has launched a legal bid. Seriously. So the Politics Home website reports, but Mr. Javid has called a temporary halt to the process after it was revealed El-Sheikh's mother wants a judicial review of his decision to be carried out. A Home Office spokesperson said, we received a request from the legal representative of the family of one of the suspects to pause the MLA, Mutual Legal Assistance response. We have agreed to a short-term pause. The government remains committed to bringing these people to justice, and we are confident we have acted in full accordance of the law and within the government's long-standing MLA policy. I get it, he's your son and you don't want him to die, but he beheaded people overseas. He didn't nick some sweets from the local sweet shop. This is serious stuff. Why is it that Britain's so pathetic when it comes to the punishment of terrorists? We've got thousands of potential terrorists just roaming around the streets right now, going to the butchers, buying their halal sausages, and other extremists are being released from prison on a regular basis. The UK on terrorism is completely weak. Sajid Javid's decision not to seek assurance from America that the ISIS Beatles won't face the death penalty in America has been met with much criticism from the far left press, far left activists, and Diane Abbott even called it shameful. And now, not only are we to believe that the death penalty for these guys is a bad thing, now the decision is being challenged by the mother of one of the men. The government has basically been forced to pause the extradition of these men. A short-term pause, they say, but let's see how the legal challenge goes. While activists and lawyers are basically attempting to ensure that these terrorists don't meet their maker. Ben Emerson of the UN told The Guardian that the decision is a breakthrough and an indication of the deep concern there is for this case. The only deep concern I have is that these men will not face justice. All too often in the UK, people convicted of terrorism charges go to prison for a handful of years, come back out and get to live a full life afterwards. These men beheaded people, they murdered people, and they worked to advance the caliphate. They at least deserve to rot in Gitmo. If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, remember to like and subscribe.